From scoring buckets and grabbing boards, to playing lockdown defense in order to get stops, this is how Mo Bamba compares to Nicholas Claxton. First up, who has better scoring numbers? Starting with Bamba, he made his way into the league in 2018, and there was a lot of hype surrounding his name, though unfortunately he hasn't lived up to it. Mo's played in 267 games so far, and he's only putting up 7.6 points per game during his stretch in 18.3 minutes of action. Now I know those limited minutes are a major reason why his numbers aren't too high, but if he was just a little more consistent, he'd have gotten way more chances by now. After all, he showed everyone what he was capable of when he dropped 32 against Philly back in 2022. Now for Nick. He's played in 148 contests ever since he became NBA bound in 2019, and in those games he's averaging 9.3 points in 22.6 minutes of playing time per contest. Those numbers are pretty average at best, but considering the fact that nobody expected much from Clax to begin with, I'd say they're pretty solid. Also, this season Clax has been way better than Bamba, and he keeps getting better, so I'll have to give the edge to Nick when it comes to their scoring averages. Next up, let me tell you about their best individual seasons from a scoring standpoint. Mo's obviously came in the 2022 season when he was finally given an opportunity to play some solid minutes. Bamba was putting up 10.6 points in 25.7 minutes of action, and it was the first time fans got to see what he's really capable of. After all, this was the season when he dropped 32 on the 76ers and 27 on the Timberwolves, so everyone got to see him at his best, and it was pretty fun to say the least. Now for Clax. He only started getting minutes for the Nets in the 2022 season, and he had a pretty solid year. But this year he's been nothing short of amazing. Nicholas is averaging a career-high 12.8 points per game in a little under 30 minutes of playing time. Throughout his career, he's had 6 20-plus point games, but guess what? 5 of them have come in just this season alone. That includes his 27-point outing against Detroit back in January. He's honestly been amazing ever since Brooklyn finally started trusting him enough to be the starting center for the team. So if I compare their best seasons in terms of scoring, Nick takes the edge once again. Moving on, who's the more complete scorer? While Clax has better scoring numbers overall, he plays like the traditional big man, so he's mostly scoring inside the paint. Mo, on the other hand, can score on the inside, knock down jumpers, and most importantly, he can even drill shots from beyond the arc. Once he's in his element, he's literally lethal, and the game against Philly's the perfect example of that, as he went 7 for 8 from deep. Yeah, those are literally Steph Curry numbers. And it wasn't the first time he torched his opponent from downtown, because he's had numerous games with at least 5 threes. So, his outside game, along with his size and strength, make him pretty deadly if he gets going. Moving on to Nick, as I told you, he just stays in the paint, so he's just scoring through layups and dunks. And obviously that's been working out pretty well for him. But his offensive bag isn't nearly as complete as Bamba's, so the advantage goes to Mo here. Following that, let me tell you about their efficiency. Bamba makes 47.7% of all the field goals he attempts. As for his three-point shooting, his percentage is quite impressive. Mo converts on almost 36% of his shots from beyond the arc, and for a 7-footer, that's spectacular. Plus, he's never shot below 30% from deep ever since he entered the league. And to top it all off, he's been a near 40-point shooter from downtown ever since the 2022 season. As for his numbers from the charity stripe, they could be better, as he only cashes in on 68.1% of his free throws, though in the 2022 season he was draining nearly 80% of them, and when it comes to his effective field goal percentage, it's at 55, while his true shooting percentage rests at 56.7. Moving on to Claxton, he's been insanely efficient his whole career. In fact, he makes 68.2% of his shots, which is just unbelievable, and this year, he's leading the league in field goal percentage, as he's converting on 72.2% of all his attempts. As for his three-point shooting, his numbers aren't the best, but that's because he doesn't really shoot from deep. Though when it comes to free throws, Clax seriously needs to shape up since he only makes 52.2 of them for his career. Now for his effective field goal percentage, it rests at 68.3, while his true shooting percentage is just as impressive at 66.9. Based on those numbers, I think it's fair to give Claxton the edge here too. Up next, who's the better rebounder? Starting with Mo, he's averaging 5.9 rebounds per game, of which 1.6 are offensive boards. While that number's pretty underwhelming given his height, it's not bad at all when you consider the limited minutes he's played throughout his career. Also, when he was given the chance to play meaningful minutes last season, he ended up averaging 8.1 rebounds per game. There's no doubt in my mind that he can be average double-digit rebounds if he gets to play at least 30 minutes a night. After all, he's grabbed a career-high 18 rebounds not once, but twice. What's more, he has 43 games with 10 or more rebounds, which includes games where he grabbed 12, 13, 15, and 17 boards. Also, his rebounding percentage is fantastic at 17.1. Now for Clax. He's also shown how good he is at crashing the boards. He's averaging 6.5 rebounds for his career, and as you might have guessed, he's been at his rebounding best this season. I mean, the dude went up from averaging 5.6 last season to 9 this year. And on the 6th of February 2023, he set his career high with 16 rebounds. Plus, Clax already has 28 games with 10 plus rebounds. And guess what? 23 of those games have come in this season alone. Moving on to his rebounding percentage, it's at 16.5 for now, which is lower than Bamba's, but it's still impressive. While Claxton's been better this season, I'm giving the nod to Bamba because he's just a bit better overall. Coming up, who's the better defender? Mo's got a solid defensive rating of 107.1 for his career, while his best ratings coming in his first 2 years in the league. Though his rating's been swelling up as time has gone on, which isn't good. Nonetheless, he's still proven that he can get blocks and steals for his team when needed. Bamba averages 1.4 blocks and 0.4 steals per game. As for his career highs, he swatted 6 shots in a contest on 2 occasions, and he's pickpocketed his opponents at least thrice in 2 games as well. While Mo hasn't stolen the ball too much, he sure has rejected it a lot, as he's recorded 4 or more blocks in 19 games. But as impressive as that is, Clax has even better numbers. The athlete averages 1.6 blocks per game, along with 0.6 steals, and this season he's leading the league in blocks with 2.6 of them. Much like Mamba, he has a career high of 6 rejections, but Nick one-upped the Lakers center in the steals department with a career best 4 steals. Also, Clax has recorded 6 blocks on 3 occasions, with all of them coming in December 2022. What's more, he has 16 outings with 4 or more blocks, and he's only getting started. Now for his defensive rating, it's a 108.5 this season and rests at 109.2 for his career. This is a close call, but I'm gonna have to give the advantage to Nick. Finally, who's better at assisting teammates? As big men, setting up teammates isn't their responsibility, but the better they are at it, the more complete they'll become. Bamba only averages 0.9 dimes, with his career best being 6. Thankfully, he doesn't average many turnovers either, so his assist-to-turnover ratio is passable. Also, with the limited minutes he's played, you can't really expect him to do much more when it comes to playmaking. Clax also has some low assist numbers, averaging only 1.2 dimes, with his career high being the same as Mo's. Again, his assist-to-turnover ratio is also alright since he averages more assists than turnovers. For now, I'm calling this a tie, but if either one of them wants to take their game to the next level, then they've got to work on involving their teammates as much as possible. I'm not saying they need to be averaging 5 to 10 dimes a night, but bringing their assist totals to at least 3 to 4 a game would be great. Either way, Nick wins this comparison with a score of 5 to 3. That's it from my end on how Bamba compares to Clax.